There is a moment in many relationships where nothing dramatic has happened, yet everything has quietly changed. She's still there, still replying, still saying the right words on the surface. But something underneath feels colder, heavier, and distant. Many men sense this shift but struggle to name it. They assume it is stress, mood swings, or something they did wrong that can be fixed with more effort. In reality, what is often disappearing first is not love, but respect. And when respect leaves, the relationship is already ending emotionally, long before any physical goodbye happens. Women rarely leave without warning. They leave in stages, and the earliest stage is verbal. Before she detaches fully, before she pulls away or replaces you, her words begin to change. These words are not random. They are signals. They reveal that admiration has faded, that emotional investment has dried up, and that she no longer sees you as the man she once chose. The tragedy is that most men hear these signals and respond in the worst possible way. They argue, they explain, they beg. They try to prove their worth to someone who has already stopped valuing it. This video is not about blaming women or encouraging bitterness. It is about clarity. When a man ignores these verbal signs, he slowly destroys his own self-respect by chasing validation that will never return. When he understands them, he can stop the emotional bleeding early and respond with dignity instead of desperation. The difference between being loved and being used is often hidden in language, not actions. A woman who loves you speaks from care, even in conflict. A woman who has emotionally left speaks from comparison, entitlement, and control. High-value men are not those who convince women to stay. They are men who recognize when staying costs their self-respect. They do not compete for approval, negotiate desire, or perform for affection. They listen, they observe, and they act calmly when the truth reveals itself. In the next part, we will begin breaking down the first verbal sign that respect is gone. A sentence many men hear but misunderstand, and why responding to it incorrectly accelerates the end instead of saving the relationship. One of the earliest and most damaging verbal signs that a woman has lost respect is when she begins comparing you to other men. It often sounds subtle at first. Other men treat their women better. Why can't you be more like him? My friend's boyfriend would never do that. On the surface, these statements may seem like complaints or invitations for self-improvement. Many men interpret them as feedback, believing that if they just adjust their behavior, work harder, or become more impressive, the relationship will stabilize. This belief is what traps them. Comparison is not guidance. It is not encouragement. It is a signal that admiration has already died. When a woman truly loves and respects a man, she may express dissatisfaction, but she does so without tearing him down or placing him beneath other men. Her corrections come from a desire to grow together, not from a need to dominate or humiliate. The moment she uses other men as a measuring stick, she has already stepped outside the relationship emotionally. She is no longer investing in you. She is scanning options, fantasizing about alternatives, and planting dissatisfaction in her own mind to justify eventual detachment. This is where most men make a fatal mistake. They hear comparison and enter competition mode. They start proving, chasing, and performing. They work harder, give more, and bend themselves into shapes that are not natural to them, all in the hope of regaining her approval. Ironically, this response destroys what little respect remains. A man who competes for a woman's validation signals insecurity and scarcity. He abandons his frame and hands her emotional power over him. A woman who truly loves you never makes you feel like second place. She chooses you fully, even when other men exist. She does not threaten your position to motivate you. She stands beside you, not above you, and certainly not comparing you to imaginary rivals. A high-value man hears comparison and understands what it means. He does not argue or try to outshine others. He recognizes that respect cannot be negotiated back once it is gone. In the next part, we will examine another common phrase that sounds like love, but is actually a test of how much of yourself you are willing to sacrifice to keep someone who is already pulling away. Another phrase that often marks the emotional decline of a relationship is when a woman begins to say, "If you love me, do this." On the surface, this sentence sounds romantic, even intimate. Many men hear it as a request for reassurance or a desire to feel chosen. But beneath the words lies a very different dynamic. This is not about connection. It is about leverage. Love is being used as a bargaining chip, and affection is turned into a transaction. When a woman is emotionally invested, love flows freely. It does not require constant proof. It does not need to be demonstrated through sacrifice after sacrifice. A woman who truly loves you wants peace, consistency, and emotional safety. She does not need to test how far you will bend, how much you will give up, or how much discomfort you will tolerate to keep her. When love becomes conditional, it is no longer love. It is emotional blackmail disguised as intimacy. Phrases like, "If you love me, you would buy this. If you love me, you would cancel that." Or if you really cared, you would prove it, create an endless loop. The more you give, the more is demanded. There is no finish line, because the goal is not closeness. The goal is control and extraction. Many men misread this as insecurity and respond by giving more, believing reassurance will calm her fears. Instead, it teaches her that your boundaries are flexible and your self-worth is negotiable. A woman who genuinely loves does not drain your energy to feel secure. She mirrors effort. She values consistency over grand gestures. She can say, "I love you," even when you cannot provide more than your presence and honesty in that moment. A high-value man recognizes conditional love immediately. He does not argue about it or comply out of fear of loss. He understands that love that must be purchased will eventually be replaced by someone willing to pay a higher price. In the next part, we will explore another deceptively harmless sentence that reveals entitlement and emotional detachment long before a relationship officially ends. Another sentence that often goes unnoticed but reveals a deeper problem is, "What have you done for me since we started at first?" This may sound like a moment of frustration or a request for recognition. Many men assume she simply wants reassurance that effort is being made. However, when a woman keeps a mental scoreboard in a relationship, love has already shifted into entitlement instead of partnership. The dynamic becomes transactional, where value is measured only by what you provide and never by what you share. In healthy love, effort is felt and remembered. Sacrifices are seen, even when they are not perfect. A woman who is emotionally invested naturally magnifies what you do right. She may express disappointment, but she does not erase the past or act as if nothing you have done ever mattered. When a woman begins to forget your contributions and constantly asks for more, it is rarely because you are not enough. It is because her heart is no longer wired to appreciate, only to consume. This is where many men fall into a deeper trap. Faced with entitlement, they try harder. They give more time, more money, more attention, and more emotional labor, hoping that eventually she will be satisfied. But entitlement has no ceiling. The more you give, the higher the expectations rise. What was once impressive becomes normal. What was once appreciated becomes required. Slowly. The man exhausts himself trying to fill a void that was never his responsibility to fix. A woman who truly loves you does not keep score. She notices effort. Even when it is imperfect, she's capable of saying, "You have done enough. I just want peace with you." Her focus is on building something together, not extracting value from you to soothe her dissatisfaction. A high-value man learns to recognize entitlement early. He does not ignore these signs while hoping for potential or future change. He understands that love built on constant demands will never become stable. In the next part, we will look at a phrase often mistaken for maturity and caution, but which frequently signals uncertainty and emotional avoidance rather than genuine interest. One of the most misleading phrases a woman can say early on is, "I just need more time to get to know you." Many men interpret this as maturity, caution, or emotional depth. They assume she is being thoughtful, protecting herself, or moving slowly in a healthy way, while patience can be a virtue. This sentence often hides a very different reality. More often than not, it means she is unsure about you, but comfortable keeping you close while she decides. When a woman genuinely likes a man, clarity feels natural to her. Attraction creates curiosity, not hesitation. She wants to know you more, not delay connection indefinitely. When she asks for time without actively deepening the bond, she places you in emotional limbo. You continue to invest attention, energy, and care while she remains non-committal, benefiting from your presence without offering certainty in return. This dynamic subtly shifts power and keeps you waiting for a decision that may never come. The common male mistake here is patience without boundaries. Men wait, hoping that consistency and effort will eventually win her over. They stay available, supportive, and emotionally present, even as nothing progresses. In doing so, they silently teach her that their time and attention are free, and that they are willing to pause their own desires to accommodate her uncertainty. A woman who truly loves you does not need endless time. She may move carefully, but she moves forward. She asks, "How can I know you better?" and makes space for connection instead of postponing it. She creates moments, not excuses. Her actions shorten the distance between you rather than stretching it indefinitely. A high-value man responds differently. He does not argue or pressure her. He simply steps back. He reduces investment and allows space to reveal the truth. Absence brings clarity faster than effort ever will. In the next part, we will examine a particularly disrespectful phrase involving an ex, and why hearing it is often a sign that emotional safety and respect are already gone. Few sentences damage a man's sense of respect as quietly and effectively as when a woman brings up her ex to diminish him. Statements like, "My ex wasn't that bad compared to you," or "At least he understood me better," are not casual reflections on the past. They are weapons when an ex is used in this way. The goal is not honesty or healing. The goal is to shift power, create self-doubt, and re-establish dominance in the relationship. A woman who has genuinely moved on does not need to reference her past to manage her present. The past loses emotional charge when real connection exists. When an ex is suddenly revived as a comparison, It signals that respect has already eroded, instead of building something new with you. She is pulling old ghosts into the relationship to weaken your position and elevate her own. This poisons the emotional ground and makes peace impossible. Most men respond to this the wrong way. They defend themselves. They explain why they are better, different, or more loyal than the ex. Some even begin competing with a man who is no longer in the room. This reaction only confirms the power imbalance. By engaging, the man accepts the frame that he must prove himself worthy, while she remains the judge. A woman who truly loves you protects the present from the past. She does not use previous relationships as tools of control. Instead, she reassures you by saying things that build safety, such as how different you make her feel or how much calmer and more secure the connection is with you. Her focus is forward, not backward. A high-value man recognizes that respect cannot exist where comparisons to the past are used as weapons. He understands that no healthy future can be built on emotional poison. He does not argue or compete. He disengages emotionally and preserves his dignity. In the next part, we will address one of the most misunderstood phrases of all, one that many men cling to as hope. Even though it is often a clear statement of rejection, one of the most painful sentences a man can hear is, "I'm not ready for something serious." Many men cling to this phrase as hope rather than truth. They tell themselves she is confused, healing, afraid, or simply needs more time. They interpret unreadiness as a temporary state that patience and consistency can solve. In reality, this sentence is rarely about timing. It is about desire, and more specifically, the lack of desire for commitment with you. A woman who wants a man does not delay clarity indefinitely. She may feel fear, uncertainty, or even doubt, but her actions still lean toward closeness. When a woman says she is not ready, while still accepting attention, care, emotional support, and benefits from you, she is creating distance without letting go of what serves her. This allows her to enjoy connection without accountability. The relationship becomes one-sided, where you invest and wait, while she stays comfortable and uncommitted. The common male mistake is waiting in silence. Men tell themselves that loyalty will be rewarded, that staying proves strength, and that leaving would mean giving up too soon. But each day spent waiting for someone who is unsure is a quiet betrayal of self. Worth is not something a woman discovers over time. It is something she recognizes quickly when desire is real. A woman who truly loves you may still feel uncertain about the future, but she does not feel uncertain about you. She might say, "I don't know where this is going, but I don't want to lose you." There is courage in her words. She moves toward connection, not away from it. Her uncertainty invites partnership, not distance. A high-value man hears "I'm not ready" and does not negotiate. He does not persuade, reassure, or wait. He accepts the statement fully and steps away with dignity. He understands that staying where he is not chosen trains him to accept less than he deserves. In the final part, we will bring all these signs together and discuss how men who value themselves respond when emotional endings reveal themselves through words long before actions follow. When you step back and look at all these phrases together, a clear and uncomfortable pattern emerges. None of these words appear by accident, and none of them show up only at the final moment. They surface gradually, often while the relationship still looks normal to outsiders. Comparison, conditional affection, entitlement, emotional limbo, weaponized memories of an ex, and claims of unreadiness all point to the same core. Truth respect has faded, and emotional attachment has already weakened. The woman may still be physically present, still texting, still engaging, but emotionally, she has already checked out. What remains is routine, familiarity, or access to the emotional safety and effort you provide, not genuine romantic investment. High-value men do not panic when they recognize this reality. They do not try to argue with the truth or negotiate desire back into existence. They understand that attraction and respect are not rewards for endurance. They are responses to alignment. The moment a man starts over-explaining, over-giving, or over-proving himself to someone who no longer values him, he begins to erode his own identity. This is not love. This is self-abandonment disguised as loyalty. True dignity is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not threaten, plead, or demand clarity from someone who is already emotionally distant. Instead, dignity shows up as restraint. A man who respects himself listens carefully, notices patterns instead of excuses, and adjusts his actions without drama. He does not try to punish her or make her regret anything. He simply removes access to his time, energy, and emotional availability when it is no longer appreciated. This withdrawal is not manipulation. It is self-preservation. It is the moment a man stops outsourcing his worth to someone else's uncertainty. Staying in a situation where respect is gone trains the nervous system to accept inconsistency, emotional instability, and silent resentment as normal. Walking away calmly interrupts that cycle. It teaches the man that peace is more valuable than attachment, and clarity is more powerful than hope. Men who develop this level of emotional discipline do not become bitter or closed off. They become grounded. They stop chasing mixed signals and stop romanticizing emotional confusion. They learn to recognize interest that is clear, effort that is mutual, and love that does not require constant proof. As a result, they recover faster, attract healthier partners, and build relationships where respect is not something that must be earned repeatedly, but something that exists naturally from the beginning. If this message resonates with you, it is not because you are weak. It is because you are becoming aware. Awareness is the beginning of strength. This content exists to help men see clearly, not to harden their hearts, but to sharpen their boundaries and restore their self-respect.